Hey guys, what's up? It's Silent Reviews here, coming at you guys with another video today. We had another thing to talk about here. If you haven't watched already, I uploaded a video last night where Dean Ambrose is granting his release for WWE. He wants to leave the WWE, and it appears that we have more superstars that apparently already left the company, or are leaving the company rather, and this needs to be addressed. So it says here, I have 3 articles here. It says here, stars react to Hideo Itami's WWE departure, Nakamura's cryptic tweet. And then the other one is just, it has nothing to do with this video. NXT women talk about the Royal Rumble. So it says here, this past Tuesday on SmackDown, excuse me, which was last night, Shinsuke Nakamura controversially lost the United States Championship to R-Truth. The latter pinned Nakamura, whose shoulders were not on the floor. Following the loss, Nakamura posted a cryptic tweet that said WCW, a potential reference to Bret Hart, spelling it out to Vince McMahon before leaving the company. This comes after the announcement that Dean Ambrose will be leaving WWE after WrestleMania. Following the announcement, Hideo Itami, former NXT star, 205 Live star, Hideo Itami, the Japanese legend, asked and received his WWE release. Several WWE stars tweeted out praise to the former GHC heavyweight champion. Peyton Royce of the Iconics posted one last video of Hideo on the road, stating that she respects him. Other stars that created posts include a number of his former 205 Live and NXT stars, including Cedric Alexander and Nikki Cross. So we have some tweets here from some superstars. Ain't no shiny Peyton Royce. I have no idea what she said there. Probably a different language. Nikki Cross says, nope, thank you, smiley face, utmost respect to you. Cedric Alexander, I respect Hideo Itami. No Way Jose tweeted, thank you, Kenta, at Hideo Itami. I will always #respect you. Asuka, the SmackDown Women's Champion, she posted, thank you, and then there's a link to a picture, so I'm assuming it's a picture of Itami, I don't know. And the last one that shows here, I'm sure there's probably more on Twitter, but the last one that's shows in this article is one from Billy Kay of the Iconics. The Iconics respect you, at Hideo Itami, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, and then there's another link to a picture. So, this is pretty ridiculous. I mean, come on now. There's one thing for Dean Ambrose to want to leave WWE because they can't treat him right as a heel on Monday Night Raw. But it's another thing to just downright, like, freaking let go of one of your superstars on 205 Live. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I really wasn't a fan of Hideo Itami even when he was in NXT. I wasn't the biggest fan of him. I mean, he did have some good matches. Like, I remember he had an NXT championship match, was like, I think it was like the only title match he ever had in NXT, and that was against Bobby Roode, and that was at TakeOver Chicago, the very first TakeOver Chicago. And although he lost, he put up a good fight against Bobby Roode. And I don't remember the other matches he had in NXT that were good. I think he had like a no disqualification match with Cassius Ohno, and he won that, so that was good. And then he moves on to 205 Live. He gets promoted to 205 Live, and they gave him some jobber matches, and then eventually he started some feuds. I don't remember. Yeah, he had some feuds with Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, Akira Tozawa. He was eventually teaming up with Akira Tozawa at some point. And then Ari Daivari came in, and I guess now he's managing Hideo, or at least was, because it now states that Hideo has left the WWE. And yeah, like, he's a Japanese legend. It's really all I can say. I'm not the biggest Hideo Itami mark, but you know, it sucks that the guy just wanted to leave the company because they weren't, again, like Ambrose, they weren't treating him right. They have never made him a champion in WWE. Throughout his time in NXT, throughout his time in 205 Live, he was never a champion. So you have to really agree with him at this point on why he would want to leave the company, because he hasn't been a champion at all, and it's downright sad. It's pathetic. It's embarrassing to be in WWE for this long. And I know Hideo has had his time off in NXT when he's had so many injuries in the past when he was in NXT, and he just took over like a year to recover, and then when he came back he got injured again. It was just bizarre. So his career is just like a big roller coaster. I mean, he sometimes he gets what he wants, other times he just gets injured, and it's not his fault. I mean, injuries happen. It's not a coincidental thing. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but it's not Hideo's fault. It's really the WWE's fault, and you can't blame him. You can't blame him for wanting to feel this way. So he left the company. Just a couple weeks ago, more stars that requested their release but haven't left the company as of yet. Former NXT champions, The Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, they granted or requested their release to leave the WWE, but I guess Vince McMahon hasn't allowed it yet. So, The Revival rumored to be preparing to leave the WWE. This article is from 411mania.com. It says here, according to a new report from Fightful, there is a concern backstage in WWE that the tag team, The Revival, could soon be finishing up with the promotion and preparing their WWE exit. Apparently, there are several people within the WWE who are fearful that Dawson and Wilder are done or finishing up with the company. The report also mentions that this happened after a situation unfolded at WWE Raw. There are no details about what the situation was or what it could be. Fightful indicates that Dawson and Wilder are not guaranteed to receive a release, and WWE plans to handle everything on a case-by-case basis. Additionally, the report notes that the multiple sources on The Revival currently see the recently announced AEW, All Elite Wrestling, as where the tag team would likely go next. However, there's merely speculation on the part of the sources. Another former WWE superstar, Pac, formerly known as Neville, has already signed with the promotion, along with Chris Jericho and the Young Bucks and Cody and a bunch of other people. Well, Cody and Young Bucks are the ones that own the promotion, so whatever. Fans of Being the Elite will note that there was a long, ongoing gag on the show where the Revival were subjected to the "fuck the Revival" line. Dash Wilder hasn't posted any tweets since last Monday, where he had an exchange with Maria Kanellis after Wilder took some shots at Matt Taven. Earlier this week, Scott Dawson did retweet a WWE fan poll asking if there's a conspiracy theory against the Revival. You can check out that tweet below. WWE has not yet commented on the validity of the story. And here it shows here, WWE apparently tweeted out, "Do you think there's a conspiracy theory against the Revival?" at Scott Dawson WWE and Dash Wilder WWE. And Scott Dawson, apparently he retweeted it or he just commented and he said hashtag FTR Forever the Revival, brother, hashtag justice for the Revival. So again, another tag team wasted. They had the potential to be one of the best tag teams in the world, and they are no doubtedly one of the best tag teams in WWE, and not just in WWE but in the world. I mean, you saw the incredible matches they had with DIY and NXT. Do you remember that 2 out of 3 Falls NXT Tag Team title match at TakeOver Toronto? Oh my god, that was probably the best tag team match I've ever seen in my entire life. Not just in WWE, not just in NXT, just in general. That's one of the best tag team matches you could ever watch. If you never watched that match, please, you gotta go watch that match. You'll understand why the Revival is known as one of the best tag teams in the world. They prove it right there. And even though they've been treated like shit for the past year and a half since they've been moved to Raw, I mean they've had decent matches. You know, they had some good matches with the New Day. They had some good matches with the Bar. They at one point had a tag team title match against Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, and they stole the fucking show that night. And that was the best tag team match on the entire show. And I thought the Revival was gonna win at that time. And then they just started treating them like garbage by just making them feud with Lucha House Party week after week after week after week, and it was like, why? What is the point of this? Why are they feuding them with Lucha House Party? It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. They really should have been Raw Tag Team Champions by now. At least 2-time Raw Tag Team Champions. I mean, come on now. And it's hard to believe the same thing with the Ascension. Another tag team just buried. Downright buried by the company. They were I mean, can anybody even remember this? The Ascension, Connor and Victor, they were the longest NXT Tag Team Champions in history. Over like 400 something days, 300 something days, I don't even know. And yet they come to the main roster and they're just fucking buried. They're just fucking giving the job fest to all these other new tag teams, or they just lose in general because they have nothing for them. It honestly, it shocks me that the Revival want to leave WWE, but the Ascension had been in there way longer than the Revival has, and yet they haven't granted a release, and I'm pretty shocked by that too. But hey, it could happen at any point now. I mean, there's a lot of superstars. They just want to leave the company in general because they're just pissed off by the way they're being treated. You can't blame them. I don't even know. So, there's that. If they do end up leaving WWE, then there's no doubt in my mind that the Revival is going to be signing with All Elite Wrestling. It's obvious. I mean, come on now. Where else are they going to go? New Japan? I mean, I don't know. And we have one last article here. This one I really, really hope doesn't happen. If this happens, this would be such a huge loss to the women's division in WWE. This would be downright pathetic. This would be awful, man. Sasha Banks. My girl Sasha Banks. She hinted that she would leave the WWE with the Revival. I hope that's not fucking true. It says here that WWE is the big leagues of a lot of superstars, and they're very happy working with whatever programs Vince McMahon's company hands them on a weekly basis. Some people are content with being with the company even if they're not featured. This is not the case with the Revival. The 2-time NXT Tag Team Champions asked for their WWE release, and since then, rumors about them leaving the promotion have been swirling around the internet wrestling community. Scott Dawson recently responded with a very, very strange message after a commendation from Sasha Banks on their amazing tag team match at the San Antonio live event as well. In a very interesting note, Sasha Banks replied with an animated gif asking the Revival to take her with them. This might just be a simple gift to some, but others might let it speak much louder. You never know what superstar might be talking about behind the scenes, but when WWE isn't the only game in town handing out big money contracts, you have to wonder how WWE is going to be able to keep everyone happy. And it shows here a tweet from Scott Dawson, posted on January 19, 2019. No matter where we go, we're stealing the show. Hashtag FTR. And then Sasha Banks, she replies to Scott Dawson's tweet with a gif of a child, and it says, "Take me with you!" Exclamation mark. I really hope that's not true. Because once the Revival's gone, if Sasha Banks is gone, that is just... that'd be just the biggest loss to the women's division. It's just, I can't even imagine if WWE lost Sasha Banks just because the Revival wanted to leave as well. Can you imagine that? Sasha Banks is no doubtably one of the best female superstars in the entire roster, in the entire world. You've seen the matches she's put on in the past. She had the rivalry with Charlotte. She had the rivalry with Bayley in NXT. I mean, come on, man. This chick, this woman, this incredible woman, this beautiful woman, she wants to leave. She said she wants to leave the WWE with the Revival if they are in fact, leaving. I hope that is not the case. The WWE needs to keep Sasha Banks. If the Revival leave, I mean, they're already saying that Sasha Banks and Bayley are gonna be set to win the women's tag team titles at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view next month. They said that's gonna happen, and if that does happen, and if the Revival's already gone at that point, then Sasha Banks has nothing to be worried about because she's being a champion with her best friend in real life, Bayley. So, what is the problem with that? And then she could eventually become a dual champion if she takes the Raw Women's title from Becky Lynch, because you know Becky's going to take the title from WrestleMania from Ronda. We all know that's happening. Same thing with Brock. You know Brock's going to lose to Seth. I mean, how can Seth come out at the Royal Rumble at number 10, win the whole damn thing, and then lose to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? That's going to be a huge embarrassment, and that's not going to happen. Seth is going to take the title in WrestleMania. Seth is walking out of WrestleMania as the new Universal Champion, no doubt about it. Same thing with Becky. Becky came in at number 20 in the Royal Rumble. Lana was supposed to be in that Rumble. She came out. She was apparently injured in the U.S. title match in the pre-show. She fell off the apron. Rusev knocked her clean out of the ring, and it was a huge, huge accident. And it cost Lana her chance to be in the Rumble match later on in the night. And Becky Lynch took her place after Becky lost to Asuka earlier in the show. And Becky Lynch won the Royal Rumble. And now Becky Lynch is fighting Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. She came out on Raw this past Monday, just a couple minutes ago. She came out on Raw, and she said she's going to take Ronda's title at WrestleMania. She went face-to-face with Ronda. She showed up on Raw. We knew that they announced that Daniel Bryan was going to be at Raw because Seth Rollins had to make his decision on whether he was going to fight Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania or if he was going to fight Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. And Seth Rollins chose Brock Lesnar. He came into the ring, and he downright just punched Lesnar in the face, but he paid for it, and the dude suffered 6 F5s, which is insane. But Becky, like I said, Becky's going to go after Ronda, and Seth's going after Brock. And then once Becky's champion, you make her have a lengthy title reign, longer than her SmackDown Women's title run. And you have Sasha Banks take the title off of her eventually, while Sasha Banks is still Women's Tag Team Champions with Bayley. So that way you have Sasha Banks as not only the Women's Tag Team Champion, but you also have her as the 5-time Raw Women's Champion. And when she wins the title back, when she wins the Raw Women's title back, you have to wonder, are they really going to keep her as champion longer than 2 weeks? Because every time this woman wins the Raw Women's title, every time she wins that title, she always loses it. If in like the next pay-per-view, if in like the next week, and it's just, why? Why are you doing this? She wasn't treated like this in NXT. She wasn't. She had a great title reign in NXT. But then again, are you gonna trust WWE to do that, Sasha Banks? I mean, come on now. They treated Nakamura like shit. They treated the Revival like shit. They treated Hideo Itami like shit. They treated Dean Ambrose like shit. Who else is going to leave the company? You have no idea. Exactly. That's why these stars they're just leaving. I don't know, man. Nakamura, it really sucks. It's hard to believe Nakamura won the Royal Rumble last year. What was it? Number 13, number 14 in the Rumble, right? He won the Royal Rumble. He eliminated Roman Reigns. Got a huge pop. Had his match with AJ Styles. Lost at WrestleMania. At that point, you should have made Nakamura a WWE champion. Hell no, you should have made Nakamura a WWE champion when he fought Jinder at Hell in a Cell. Do you remember Jinder Mahal's WWE champion? Yeah, me neither. Because ever since he's lost the title, the guy's just freaking buried. He just loses every week. Sure, he gets a few wins every now and then. Sure, he's won a few matches in the Mixed Match Challenge. Sure, he made it to the finals in the Mixed Match Challenge. But he lost. You really think he was going to win the Mixed Match Challenge? Can you imagine if Jinder Mahal entered the Royal Rumble at number 30? That is absolutely embarrassing. That's a huge disgrace to the company. That's why R-Truth won. That's why R-Truth and Carmella won the Mixed Match Challenge, and they were in the respective Royal Rumbles at number 30. Sure, R-Truth was attacked by Nia Jax, but hell, I think it would have been way funnier if Jinder was in the Royal Rumble number 30 and he got taken out by Nia Jax. That would have been way funnier. But hey. This just goes to show you you can't trust the WWE. If you're working with that promotion, then do the best you can. Make them believe in you. Just like Finn Balor did. He took on Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. And sure, he lost in a clean fashion. Sure, he tapped out to Brock. But the man put up a fight against the Beast. Just like Daniel Bryan did and just like AJ Styles did. He put up a fight. And he almost won the title back. He almost did. He was this close. As soon as he hit that coup de grace, he got caught with the Kimura and he tapped out. And Brock still the champ. Now, as cool as it would have been to see Balor win the Universal title back and see him as the Demon against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, that would have been great. Can you imagine Demon Finn versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title? And not at SummerSlam, but at WrestleMania? I mean, if their first match at SummerSlam was great, just imagine what they could have done at WrestleMania. They would have stole the entire show. It would have been the best match of the entire night. And I don't think Rollins and Lesnar is going to deliver. I mean, it very well could. The first time they had their match at Battleground in 2015, 4 years ago, their match sucked. Rollins was just treated like absolute garbage. But then again, that's when Lesnar was just lazy. And he didn't even want to wrestle with the small guys. Even when he was wrestling the small guys, he just buried them. But look at him now, 4 years later. Now he's giving his opponents the respect that they deserve. And he's putting up a great match with them. He had a great match with AJ Styles at Survivor Series. He had a great match with Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series. And he had a fantastic match with Finn Balor at the Royal Rumble. I mean, come on now. So you have to imagine to do the same with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. And then Rollins is going to beat him. Rollins is going to take that title. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see. So, that's all I got to say, guys. It really sucks, again, that these superstars just want to leave because they're just pissed off at the way they're treated. But who's to say you can't blame them, right? Just please, WWE, don't do this to any more superstars. Do what you can. Push them to the very top. Sasha Banks. If Sasha Banks wins the women's title with Bayley at the Elimination Chamber, if she wins the tag team titles with Bayley, then you better push that woman to the top of the moon. Push her to the top of the roster. Make her the top priority on the women's division on Monday Night Raw, alongside Bayley. But you want to make Sasha Banks that top priority, that top superstar, the one who's going to be talked about for weeks, the one who's going to be talked about for years. You did that with Becky Lynch on SmackDown Live. Great. Now can you do the same with Sasha Banks? Just a simple question. Hopefully WWE does what we all want. Push Sasha. Hashtag push Sasha Banks. That's all I'm asking for, guys. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. If you enjoyed my little, I wouldn't say it was a rant, but I mean it was more of a rant yesterday with Ambrose. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, comment, subscribe, favorite, and tap that little bell so you get notified for future uploads. And I will see you all in the next one. Too sweet. Peace.